episode brought to you by Basement Billiards. Today I want to help you guys improve your break. The most important shot in any game of pool is going to be the break, which is going to spread your balls out, give you a chance to run the table, and give you a chance to take control over the game. So to start off, I want to start by talking about the 8-ball break. Later on we'll get into the 9-ball break, and I'll show you the different styles of break that I like to hit. So there's a couple things that you can control about the break that can make or break the break depending on how good you hit the ball. The first thing is going to be, is the rack tight? If this first ball comes off the rack a little bit and you don't notice it and you break the balls, they're not going to spread out nearly as well. So make sure before you break, if your opponent's racking, you always want to come up and check to make sure that he racked the balls good. The second thing is going to be the rails of the table. So if you're playing on a really old beat up table and the rails don't have much cushion into them, then the balls aren't going to come and bounce off and spread out like you'd want them to. And the third point is the break stick. So here I have a break stick that I bought. It's also a jump cue that comes off and you can use it to jump with. I definitely recommend investing in one of these, not only because you don't want to break your playing cue, you don't want to ruin the tip or the ferrule or the shaft on your playing cue, and these break sticks also come with a hard tip. So mine has a phenolic tip on it, which has a lot different sound when you hit the ball and breaks the balls a lot more hard. So to start off, it depends on what game you're playing, obviously, but it also depends on what league you're in. So some leagues you can make the 8 on the break and that'll win the game. Other leagues you can't make the 8 on the break and it'll just get spotted if you make it. So if I'm playing in a league where they allow you to make the 8 on the break that I like to hit is from the second diamond right here, about a ball and a half off the rail, and you're actually aiming to hit this second ball, okay? Now you want to be careful when you hit this break, because if you barely hit the first ball and then the second ball, the cue ball might scratch right down here, and if you hit the third ball, then the balls aren't going to break up at all. So what you want to do is you want to hit this second ball clean, and you want to use a little bit of low right hand English. By that I mean on the bottom right side of the cue ball. And this will generate backspin and side spin to where when it hits this, the cue ball still can come out and get to close to the center of the table. Now a lot of times I see people break from here, and what they do wrong is they think since they're on the rail they have to really elevate their stick up to break. And when this happens, the cue ball actually bounces, hits this in the air, and the cue ball will fly off the table. So what I want you guys to practice is, even though you're breaking from here, you want your stick to be as parallel to the ground as possible. So what I like to do is I like to make the peace sign, put the peace sign down right over top of my shaft like that, and I like to just let the cue do all the work on the rail. So I'm just guiding it with these 2 fingers, and the cue ball just slides and my stick stays level the whole time. You want to make sure that you're not ending up going like this when you hit the ball. So let me hit a couple of those breaks and then we'll get back to the next break. So the next break I want to show you guys is when the 8-ball doesn't count on the break, or when you're just trying to play conservative and playing for a run out instead of trying to make the 8 on the break. So where I like to place the cue for this break is in between this first and second diamond, right in the middle, and direct center of the table. And when I hit this break, I'm hitting it a little bit above center cue ball. So here's the center, I'm hitting a little bit above there. And I'm hitting the 1 ball as center as I can. And my hopes are that the cue ball will come, break, and come back and stop right in the center of the table. This, when the cue ball does stop in the center of the table, it gives you the best chance to make a ball off the break because you have many options. And it also helps control the cue ball and spread the balls very well when you hit it direct center with a lot of impact. Let me show you one of those breaks and then we'll move on to 9-ball. So the next game of choice for me is 9-ball. I like playing 8-ball a little bit better, but when I play 9-ball, you definitely want to capitalize on the break, because if not, your opponent can run out the rack much easier than 8-ball. So in 9-ball, I'd say 90% of the time I'm hitting the break from this second diamond about 2 ball lengths off. We could even measure it in chalks, that way you know. So about 4 chalks from the rail. Now when you hit this break, you don't want to hit the second ball. You want to actually hit center with this 1 ball, and your hopes are here, when you hit center with the 1 ball, the cue ball, you're not hitting dead center on the 1 ball, you're hitting the side of it so that the cue ball just comes straight back again. You always want to try to keep the cue in the center of the table. So when you hit this 1 ball dead center from the side, I'm not sure what happens in there, but there's a lot better chance that the 9 ball will go in one of these corner pockets. There's also a good chance that this 1 ball kisses off the 6 and goes in the side, or one of these 2 wing balls also go in the corner pockets. If you watch the pros break, they usually break from around here, either this side or that side, but a couple balls off the second diamond, and they seem to make a ball almost every single time. So let me hit a couple breaks from there, and then we'll get into my final break technique. The last break that I like to hit a 9-ball, again, is if I'm playing conservative and I want to just control the cue ball and try to make a ball. You can just go dead center of the table, about the same spot in between this first and second diamond that I showed you in the 8-ball game. And you just want to hit dead center on the 1 ball and try to control the cue in the middle of the table. Now when I'm hitting from the center table, I hit exactly like I do here. I set the stick down, I make the peace sign, I put the peace sign over it, and I use a little bit of my hips, but I make sure to follow through into the cloth. So there's a lot of different break techniques, but the one thing you want to focus on is keeping your cue level to the ground, because you don't want to go like this and pop that cue ball up in the air, and you don't want to scoop up like this and end up miscuing. So always keep your stick level and power through the ball. That's going to give you the most power off the break and help you guys make balls most often. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it helps you with your break shots in the future. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe, and share with your friends. And keep shooting well.